Hi, Ann. You posted over in the Five Pencil Method community a picture you had done before you ever started the Five Pencil Method. And I don't know how far you are through the lessons by now, but I asked you if I could use this as an example of how the Five Pencil Method can help you in tackling some of the challenges in creating proportion, depth, uh, and some of the things that you may not see, but I can help you start looking for, because you have so many things within each reference that is going to help you develop that good proportion and depth and that character. And so they are easy enough. I don't want to overwhelm you. There's a few things that I'd like to point out, but go over to Five Pencil Method, start with those tutorials. There's a couple paths to get to the free lessons, but if you click on tutorials, you'll also see over on the left-hand side the free lesson opportunities. And try to take the lessons in order and start with that tapered stroke and tracking and the patches. It shows you how to start taking one element and building on it and start developing more and more and more until you can gain confidence, get the practice you need so that when you're ready to do something like this, you can contour it, you'll learn what to look for, you'll understand how light works. It's a very important aspect and principle of the whole process, and you'll start seeing something like this come forward off the page and taking on again that 3D look. But again, to develop the proportion, there's a number of key things, and I use a straight edge divider method primarily because not only can I start my whole picture that way right from scratch, but you can use it however much you want. You can use it to get information from your reference and transfer it right on over to your drawing to make sure that you get good anchor points like personality that might be in a reference that you want to make sure that you capture. And you can use these as great bearing lines to build off of. Angle like this going right through a mouth. If you look at some of the tutorials, you're going to see how I use that straight edge, running it right through here. If I keep my picture parallel to my paper, I can have this as an established line that goes right on through and gives me the opportunity to duplicate that angle. So now I have that attitude. I can do the same thing between the two corners of the eyes, because I can run that straight edge right through and into my drawing and find out again that angle that captures that personality. There's a number of angles, and when you start realizing what an advantage it is, you'll start seeing other places to put that straight edge. As long as you put it maybe on something you see straight in your reference, and then again keep your reference parallel on any edge of your drawing and run that straight edge back into your drawing, you can go ahead and create an angle that you might need. There's always a way to establish an angle or where it's connected. Here's an angle here, a very strong angle. And this leads to one other thing. When we have a face turn like this, we're probably going to have something that is going to be blocked from our view. So this nose turning like that has stopped us from being able to see into this part of the face, and it becomes a clean edge. This helps us have dimension, helps us to have that depth. And here, that isn't evident. And so we can again duplicate the angle. We see that the face is very little bit of it showing, and we know now that we have an opportunity to create a clean edge. This also even starts blocking the corner of the eye. So when it comes up here, we know that this eye, that corner, is going to be blocked from our view. So this gives us a good idea of how much of this we're going to see. I know this is going to look really goofy on Photoshop, but I hope you'll go over to those lessons and take advantage of it. Then we have an opportunity to see that this line right here for the eyebrow, it actually connects with that corner. Another place that we find that junction is going to give us a lot of information. So instead of just putting an eyebrow on there because we decide it must be there, we can go ahead and take this same opportunity and make sure that we have the same angle. So again, this is looking awful scary, but there are a number of things. The lower lid may have a different angle on it. We have maybe the vertical alignment of the part that we want to take into consideration. Where does it start? And look at the angle here. This is quite a bit different, so really that part should be over here. The distance of the forehead could probably be quite a bit higher, and this is going to make this hair more in line with what we see, because this is so much hair. We only see a little bit on the top of the head because the forehead is actually supposed to be a little bigger. So these are wonderful opportunities you can do with the divider and find out, well, how will I know? Well, you can take a measurement from here to whatever you think is a good anchor point and find an equivalent. It might be here. Take a measurement from here and then measure back up here, and you'll know where your hairline is. Finding comparisons is a great opportunity. And I think with just a very few things, you'll see this change dramatically. Most of the time, you'll end up by having so much more than you ever thought on your paper. And if you don't press too hard, you'll be able to make all the changes you want. And if you keep from scoring it, you're not going to see the old eye if you wanted to even move it over. I've had to do that many times, and I learned quickly that if I use the right pencil and I use it lightly, I can again take it off, even with my kneaded eraser, that soft eraser. So one of the tutorials that I think would really help you and many others, and even though it's of somebody else's picture, I think it's very, very similar. You might want to watch critique number 18 on structure, perspective, and freehanding. And you will go to 5-pencil method, go to the tutorials, then go to critiques. On the left-hand side of the page is that column, and you'll see the critiques. And then you'll see again your opportunity for critique number 18. And I think that would really help. It's almost the same thing except the girl is facing the other way. And it's so common that this is why I asked you if I could use this, because I think a lot of people have this challenge of where do I start? How do I get that perspective and some of the things that I need to really get this thing proportionally right. So I hope you can take advantage of that. I'd be really excited if I could see if you decided to do this one or another one again on 5-pencil method community. If you'll share that, then we can look and see how we can make a couple other tweaks and adjustments. This one more thing here on the drawing. If you will look at how light works, it's lesson number 3 in the free lesson tutorials, then you will see that there is a place for you to add value so that you can pull the chin forward and push the neck back. And you take advantage of other things. This right here, this clothing that goes behind her neck, anything I can use like that I can't see anymore is a wonderful advantage for me to develop immediate proportion, have another reference point that I can use as an anchor, and we start seeing a lot of things happen. And when you start seeing the depth and something pushed back and something pulled forward, something that disappears from our view because something is blocking it, you'll start seeing what you do have on your paper make much more sense. So again, I hope that you'll be able to benefit from this. There's also a mouth series that might help you a lot, and that gets into a lot of the perspective issues that you have here, and what goes around and out of your sight, what forms a clean edge. And so I thought that I would at least mention a few of these things, and I hope that I hope it makes sense to you and you have some fun drawing, because you can start seeing how much more you're able to do with your reference than you might have imagined before. So if I could put it into a recipe for you, that's exactly what I want to do. So again, look forward to seeing more of your work over there in 5-pencil method community, and thanks for letting me use this picture.